Hello, Internet. Thank you once again for joining me to talk all things vertical drama. I have found probably one of the most talented and recognisable faces in vertical drama to talk to, which is the very fabulous actress Candace Mizga, who's going to tell us all about vertical dramas from back in the day in 2023. Because Candace is
Yes.
like an OG. She was in some of the very, very first ones that were made in the USA. So, over to you if you want to give a little intro of yourself to the Internet.
Yeah, of course. My name is Candace. I grew up in a small farm in Michigan. I was homeschooled. I've always been very, very introverted, but I loved to sing as a kid. My mom saw that and was like, "You should take singing lessons." And then I started taking singing lessons, and then I started acting, and the rest is history.
When you were singing, what were you listening to that then you were singing?
Yeah, I originally wanted to do musical theater growing up. But I remember I went to my first voice lesson and I was so shy that I didn't sing a single song. I wouldn't sing. My mom was like, "Candace, you can't do that." So I went to my next voice lesson and I sang Christmas carols. And then he got me into doing musical theater songs. And I've always loved kind of poppy songs, like in the style of Colby Calais or Nora Jones. Um, and yeah, originally I intended to go to school for musical theater. And then I got into NYU Tisch and they place you into acting studios. And I was placed into Stella Adler Studio of Acting,
Wow.
which is just acting. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll do that and take singing and dance on the side. And then I really fell in love with just straight acting. And then I kind of slowly moved into the TV and film route. And now here I am.
Okay, so I think the question we have to ask then is what is it that you fell in love with about the acting? Can you
Um,
articulate that?
yeah, I've always loved stories and storytelling. Um, I had a really holistic upbringing. I actually wasn't allowed to watch TV or movies, rarely movies. Um, it was like, go play outside, go play the piano. And I think, I mean, at the time I was like, why are you doing this to me? This is awful. But now I'm so grateful for it because I feel like it nurtured a creativity, inside of me. So it was like I was always telling stories and using my imagination and playing, and I fell in love with that same aspect of playing, which I think is what acting and storytelling is.
I just have to go back again because I'm guessing then, were you a big reader?
I was, yeah.
Any favourite childhood ones you can share?
I think I read the Harry Potter series like over 7 times, and I always thought I was going to Hogwarts. Unfortunately, still waiting for my letter, but
It is something that's happened to many of us. Like the hour hasn't turned up yet. You
I'm
never
like,
know.
"What? It got lost for sure. It got lost in the mail."
Oh, okay. So once you were at Stella Adler and you obviously fell in love with it, was it always as soon as you graduated, you're like, this is it, this is my career? And how long were you in New York and when did you do the let's go to LA? So when did that happen?
Yeah. I mean, I think as soon as I committed to going to school for acting, I was like, "This is it. There's no other option." Maybe I was a little naive, making that decision. I didn't quite know what I was getting myself into. But yeah, I moved to New York at 18 from the small farm, homeschooled
Mm.
girl to NYU, which was a huge adjustment for me. It was really tough. But I loved acting school. I learned so
Mm.
much there. I'm really grateful for that experience. And then I graduated, I started doing, a little bit of modeling, a little bit of independent short films, commercials, and then COVID hit and everything was shut down. And I
Mm.
was like, okay, cool, cool, cool. And then I just had some time to think and I kind of impulsively moved to LA during the pandemic, like early 2021. I didn't have a job, an apartment, or a car, but I just moved out here.
Wow.
Um, I started grinding. Um, I was working like 4 jobs at one point, I think. I had like a restaurant
Mm.
job. I was doing social media management. I worked at a gym. Um, it was crazy, but I just couldn't see myself doing anything else other than acting.
Mm,
And it was a frustrating time because then the SAG strike happened,
mm,
and I just wasn't getting any work, acting work. And a couple of my friends from NYU had moved out here around the same time, and we were like, "We're artists and our job is to create, so let's just make something." So we wrote and produced and acted in a web series, a horror comedy called Trauma Bond, and it was so empowering to be like, "We just have to you just have to make work if you want it to happen."
mm.
And it was an awesome experience, and around the same time, I think it was, like, either right before or right after we shot our 2nd episode of Trauma Bond, I acted in my first vertical. Um, yeah, I had no idea what it was going in, but I was like, "This is work, and I'm so excited to be on set acting." Um, and it was a wild ride, but yeah, here we are now.
Do you remember where you saw the ad? Because I know some people saw them on like Facebook and others had seen them on Actors Access. Do you remember where you
Yeah,
saw it?
I saw mine on Actors Access.
Actors Access.
Yeah.
And then when you walk on, were you given, I guess, how soon did you grasp the tone is what I'm trying to ask.
It's funny because I read the script and I was like, "This is so different and like, so strange," but at the same time, it felt really similar to, like, a K-drama to me. So
Yes.
I said, earlier, I grew up not watching TV, like, I wasn't allowed to.
Mm,
Um, maybe my parents don't know this, but I would, like, secretly find ways to watch TV, like, on our home computer, or I had, like, an iPod, and I would download apps and watch all of these international TV shows or movies. And I came across
mm.
K-dramas, so I, like, used to watch them in high school. And so when I read the first, vertical script, I was like, "Okay, that feels, like, really similar to what a K-drama is." Um, yeah, and I used to joke and be like, "Anytime I'm on a vertical set, I feel like I'm starring in a K-drama."
I think it's a really good comparison. That was kind of what I
Yeah.
picked up when I came over.
Yeah.
Um, so just going back to that first one you're in, which was Never Divorce a Secret Billionaire Heiress, which has
Mhm.
so many people now who are all kind of, well known in verticals. The thing about that one was that got picked up in one of the first articles
Mhm.
about vertical dramas, which was I think in the New York, no, yeah, New York
Yeah, the New
Times,
York
wasn't it?
Times and the Rolling Stone as well.
And because of the poster, it's you. That's the one that they show. So how soon from when you filmed that did that article come out, and what was the process there?
I think it was I don't remember when it exactly came out. It was definitely several months after the show was released. But I mean, that was a huge shock to me because I did the job and I was excited to work and had a blast doing it, but I wasn't expecting it to really be seen by people. I was working actually with Samantha Drews. She played my villain on that one.
Yeah.
And I think she was the only one who had done verticals before any of us. And she was like, "No, a lot of people watch these." And she was kind of explaining what they were. And we were like, "Really? Like, that's okay. That's so interesting." Like, we didn't know what they were. And then I remember the producer messaged me and was like, "We have like 19 million views on TikTok for your show." And I was like, "What?" It's like, oh my gosh, it scared me a little bit. I wasn't ready. And then, yeah, the articles started coming out and I was like, "Oh, wow, this is like the beginning of something brand new that we've never seen before." And it was incredibly exciting to be at the forefront of that.
Oh, that's so awesome. Um, when did you, because obviously you were talking about the fact that you were working multiple jobs,
Mhm.
but then when you look at it, you're clearly very busy as soon as you hit 2024 with verticals.
Mhm.
When were you able, I'm presuming, to stop the other jobs and go just full time? I'm presuming
Yeah,
largely thanks to verticals.
I think it was officially last year
Mm,
full time. I had worked at a restaurant until maybe 2023,
mm.
and I was also doing social media management. And then I stopped and was just doing social media management. and verticals. And then I realized I cannot keep up with my other work. And so, like, the dream, I just have to do full-time acting, which is really cool because I think when I was in college studying acting, it was always like the dream is to just be a full-time actor. I don't care about being famous or, being in the spotlight. I just want to be full-time acting, doing what I love to do. And I get to do that now. And it's like, pinch me.
Oh. So do you know now how many you've done? Are you someone who keeps count?
I think it's about 30. I have to go back, but
Yeah.
about 30.
And am I right in thinking you're pretty much always the lead? I don't think I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember if I've seen you as a villain, and I can't recall a
I
moment.
have done one villain, which was like not like the main villain, but a smaller villain.
Mm.
And then I did one best friend, and then the rest are all leads. Yeah. Which I would love to do villains. And I
Mm.
think I have a good look for that. I would love to play the mean girl. But I think at the beginning, I was like, you know what? I know that I will get villain jailed because I have that look. So I only did
You
leads.
saw it
But now
coming.
I'm
You
kind of like,
dodged
yeah,
it.
I saw it coming. I was like, I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
So, but I would love to do some villains. I think that would be so much fun.
I would say that they do like to make you suffer.
Oh, they love to. Yeah.
I do feel, I think it's because it sounds awful, but you cry so beautifully.
Yeah. I guess so. It's funny because I never used to be able to cry in command.
Mm.
But I think verticals have been such a great training ground for me. And because I have had to cry so much, now it's like, you need me to cry, okay, I can get there in 20 seconds.
About comedy, would you like to do more comedy? I was just thinking to kind of
I would
balance
love
it.
to. I would love to do more comedy. There was one I did this summer for Good Short, and it had some comedic elements in it. And I was like, I really wanna lean more into that. Yeah, I'd love to do comedy or something really, like, action heavy. I think it would be so
Mm.
much fun to play an assassin.
Yeah, I was just thinking, that's kind of the slight, I guess, particularly, it's brilliant that you've done all those verticals, but as we know, you can end up playing a reasonably similar role quite a lot, which I
Mhm.
imagine you get a bit frustrated with as an actress because you're like, well, I want to show that well, just for like even just creativity, just that I can do
Yeah.
other things.
Yeah, it can
Mm.
it can get it can feel, like, repetitive, but I think it's also exciting to see, um, more new things coming out.
Mm.
I just did earlier this year a independent horror vertical.
We need to talk about that.
Yeah.
The one that Rick Shepherd wrote.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
That was so refreshing to work on. It was all with, vertical actors, but just such a different feel. And that was independently produced. I don't know exactly when it's released yet, but I had a blast on that because it was something different, you know?
I'll link the trailer below, but it's very good. It's a good. I mean, first of all, Jess Jacoby does an excellent scream, just to say. But then
Incredible.
it's very good because from my memory, your main bit in the trailer is at the end, but then they play one of those like creepy sort of horror child's chime over it, and it's a very good
Mhm.
ending with you. So yeah,
Thank
look out
you.
for that one. Um, given that you're playing the lead, we know that involves a lot of dialogue. What are your methods for learning a lot of dialogue? How much do you prepare? Are you a very much night before, just taking the next day? How do you manage it?
Yeah. I tend to be an over-preparer, but I think that's why verticals have been so good for me, is because they've kind of made me let go a little bit because I've had to.
Mm.
If you're getting the script a week, sometimes a day before the shoot, you can't go through like you would on a feature film or something um, with more time involved and just memorize everything ahead of time. And so I tend to memorize the night before each shoot day. I look at the call sheet for the next day, memorize everything, and then in the morning I get up and go on a walk and review my lines again, and then you just do it. I think if I think about the dialogue as thoughts
Mm.
rather than words that I have to stick to, it helps me. And I think having done so many verticals now back to back, it's built that part of the brain that memorizes so much more quickly. And I've noticed if I take like a couple weeks off, I have to like retrain that part of my brain. It's really interesting.
Oh, there's like a whole study there about neuroplasticity or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
how you're using your brain to memorize. That's
It's
phenomenal.
fascinating.
Yeah. So I have to ask you, obviously I've got favorite verticals of yours. I mean, I really like, I don't know why, but some of your escorting, you have a few where you have a cool boy,
Hmm.
a CEO, but they're not really a cool boy. They always turn out to be that.
Yeah.
I also, I really liked My Husband's Nephew's my guilty
Hmm.
pleasure as well, because that felt quite different. It felt like they'd really upped the production values. Kind of with what projects are your favorites that you really like?
Yeah, that one was one of my favorites. They actually changed the name on that one, which was fun. Uh, but I loved that team, and I always feel a little bit. A couple times I've played roles where my character is like an older woman getting pursued by a younger man, and I'm always like, "Is this a little weird?" But I loved that that character was so strong, and I loved that that team was so passionate about creating a good series. Yeah, it was that was an amazing experience. And I also liked working on my second vertical, Miss Swan Teach Me Love. Um, Also another great crew, and that's where I met Yashin Lin, who directed it, and I worked with her a bunch more after that. Yeah.
That's always a good sign. I just want to go back to the recent one, the husband's nephew one. There's a
Mhm.
few nice reversals of slight vertical tropes because there's
Mhm.
a common thing in verticals if you're not aware of, a female ending up in the pool. But in this one, the male lead basically purposefully jumps in the pool to force the female lead, like, see you do, Kay, you're going to jump in and save me. Um, I mean, you get to do a stunt jump. That's quite fun.
That
How was
was
filming that
fun.
scene?
That scene, we actually spent an entire half day working on it, and it's funny because that one wasn't originally in the script.
Mm.
Um, but when we signed on, they said, "We're probably gonna write an additional scene and have an extra half day to film it." So we didn't know what it was until we had actually started shooting.
Mm.
And then on the day of, yeah, it was so much fun. It was a sunny day, but we were getting a little bit cold in the pool. And then it's like logistics are always so interesting working on those scenes because we're like, okay, how do we like get underwater with the camera? And then where do we need to place you? And so, yeah, always fun. But I really enjoyed that one.
And then the other thing that I really liked in that one is because it starts, the whole point is that Melanie is splitting up with her husband, Patrick, and they've got this joint law firm and there's a slight battle. Um, but it feels much more empowered as a female role because Melanie's quite,
Yeah.
I'm taking the firm. Um,
Hmm.
was that quite fun to lean into as well? And kind of
It
any favourite
was.
scenes with those bits as well?
I loved the scene where Patrick has all the babies on sticks. It was just insane. We were like, I saw those props and I was like, this is incredible. Like, I don't know who thought of this, but what? It was so funny.
Did anyone get to keep one? I don't know if Daniel
I
Bateman
think
said that he kept one.
I think Daniel kept one. Yeah, I think he got to keep one. I hope
It's kind of
so.
to be memorable. You feel like these can't just go
Like,
in recycling somewhere. Someone needs to
yeah,
have these.
like that is a souvenir. That's a souvenir.
And the other thing that I feel that leans into is the nice thing is I know obviously one of your more recent werewolf ones, we've got a female alpha, which is really nice
Hmm.
because for a long time it's been male alphas. Um,
Yeah.
I guess just generally, what is your take as an actress on the werewolf stories? Because obviously it's quite a unique, I guess, universe that is set up that's in verticals and comes from books, but isn't really related
Yeah.
to other ways you see werewolf on the screen in like Teen Wolf or something.
I mean, I think it's fun. I hadn't done a lot of werewolf ones until this year. I did 2, I think. Um, And I actually found it to be really refreshing because I felt like I got to move a lot and jump around and think about like coming out of the wolf. I think that the effects can look funny sometimes. Um, but I have a lot of fun with movement-based stuff. So, yeah. But then it's also like sometimes you're a werewolf, but you're also a CEO. So you're like kind of a
Yeah.
human most of the time.
Yeah, they really vary on how wolf they get, don't they?
Yes, it
Yeah.
truly does.
Yeah.
Or if you're like
Um,
Cayman, you have the full on growl, which he just kills every time.
he's the best. He's the best at the growl. I have to ask then about costumes. Any favourite costumes over the dramas? Are there any that you've
Hmm.
kept or bought?
I actually did get to keep a wedding dress. And I wore it as a Halloween costume this year. I got back from traveling and I wasn't really expecting to go out on Halloween. And then I was like, oh my gosh, last minute, always, what do I wear? And I was like, I have a wedding dress. Let me put some blood on it. So that was fun. Yeah. And then I did a fashion vertical last year, I believe it was, with Elijah Van Zanten. And I loved the costumes on that one.
Oh God, they're
Um,
stunning. Wild for my boy toy. Yeah.
yes, yes. Wild for My Boy Toy. I loved those costumes.
Um, and then talking about travels, obviously you moved to LA, and that is still, I guess, the centre for making verticals. But what other opportunities have you had? Because basically, I know you've travelled abroad to film.
Yeah.
Um, was that something you wanted to do? Was it an unexpected opportunity?
Yeah, I always like when I first saw people starting to travel for verticals, I was like, that looks so much fun. I love to travel and like I'd love to travel and work. And so my first travel one was in Atlanta.
Um,
Um, and then last December I went to Turkey with Jared Harper and Sarah Moliski. That was my first international job ever.
um,
And it was just beautiful, um, stunning and such a fun experience. And then this year, I've done 3 verticals in China, 1 in Vancouver, and 1 in Prince Edward Island. So those are my traveling. Yeah.
I need to ask you about the Prince Edward Island one because I'm a massive Anne of Green Gables fan.
I didn't even know there was, like, a connection there, actually, until you messaged me about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
But no, that
I
was
got
stunning. That was stunning.
yeah.
And such a nice team on that one.
Mm. What is the I guess, are there differences when you're on in these different countries on sets, or is it pretty much a vertical is a vertical wherever you're working, you just have different scenery to look at?
Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit different, especially if it's like for Turkey or China, there's not everyone speaks English on set, and so you kind of are navigating a communication thing.
Um,
I didn't find it difficult because of that at all. Uh, I think one thing that's a little hard for me to navigate as an actor is like I will have a long travel day, and then you land, and then you maybe are a little jet lagged and you're not in your normal environment. And then you immediately, the next day are going to fittings and rehearsals and
mm,
makeup tests. So then you start shooting um,
um,
while adjusting to new surroundings. And so that can be different and a challenge. My first China shoot, I had been asked to do a callback for it, which I did. And they were like, "Oh, we loved your read. You're kind of at the top of the list for this role, so hold the dates." And then I just didn't hear anything.
mm.
And I was like, "Okay, that's fine. I'm not doing that job." And then I woke up on a Sunday and they were like, "Hey, you're booked. You leave tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh,
Ooh!
China
As,
tomorrow." And I was like, "Who's
as
my
you,
co-star?" Yeah.
I have to ask, like, do you have plants or pets? Because suddenly you're like, someone's got to look either water the plants or look after the pets.
I don't. I really want a cat, but it's like, what would I do?
Okay, that's good. I'm kind of relief. I went straight to logistics there, as well as obviously packing as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, So, as someone who's, I guess, seen the industry from when you first started, it was one of the very first ones, to, I guess, where we are now in that, it's November 2025 for Internet's
Hmm.
record. We're at the stage where there is like new articles daily about vertical dramas, and all of Hollywood's interested, and production companies everywhere seem to get involved. What is your take on how the industry has evolved, and I guess how does it feel, because you were a real pioneer, you've been there since the beginning.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think being on sets, it feels a little more streamlined now. At
Mm.
first, we were all kind of figuring it out together. It's definitely strange that now everybody knows what verticals are. It feels like, at least in, acting, more and more people know what they are and are excited about them. I think that the stories are starting to expand. I'm excited for what is going to happen in 2026. I know a lot more actors are getting involved in producing and the filmmaking side of things. Even like with the horror vertical that I did, it's actor produced. Um, so yeah, I think there's so much room to grow, and it's an exciting time.
Which leads perfectly on to a project that you're involved in. Please, could you explain to the viewers the exciting project that you were part of, how that came about? Anything you are able to tell us?
Yeah, absolutely. I can talk about Chera TV. So me and my friend Kylie and our friend Emma and Rachel have been developing the idea for a new vertical platform for the past about 7 months. Um,
Mm.
and our goal with this platform is to tell more elevated vertical stories. We've all discussed, things that we would like to see shift in this space. I would like to see less violence towards women, different stories, just different risks being taken.
Mm.
And that's what our goal is. So we are shooting our first show in exactly 1 month in Vancouver. And I'm
Oh.
so, so excited about this script. I don't know how much I can share, but
Mm.
I'm really excited about it. And then
Will
we
you
have
be on screen?
So
Are you
I'm
in?
actually going to be, I will be executive producing this one, and then the
Mm.
second one as well. And then the third one I'll be executive producing and acting in. So it'll be a mix. Yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting. So, with all this development, are you writing? Are you pitching ideas? I just love to know the kind of the creative part that you have in developing it all.
Yeah, I'm really on the side of just like creative development. So I'm helping choose the scripts and then, connecting our team with writers. And
Mm.
then I just read our second draft of our script that we're filming next month, and then me and Kylie will like write notes and be like, "Let's do this, let's try this." So a little bit of everything.
What would you like Chera TV to be known for?
I I want Shara TV to be known for creating inclusive content, and taking risks where other people won't.
Yeah, I think that's a really strong statement. So, as you said, we're about to film the first one. There's
Mhm.
a really active Instagram account which you can follow, but also I know that there's like you can go to a website and get on the mailing list and make sure you know updates that are happening. So I'm going to put
Yes.
all that
Thank you.
below,
Yes.
which
Yeah, you
is
can
really.
sign up now, and we will be officially launching early next year. So,
So, looking at other stories, what other what other genres do you think will work well in a vertical space? Kind of, if, obviously, you've mentioned horror. Are there other
mhm.
areas where you think it can expand and would be an obvious place to go?
I've always been curious about horror comedy because I feel like it's quick and and kind of campy, um,
Um,
and can be produced on a low budget. I'm actually very curious to see how horror will do in the vertical space. That's not something I would typically think of
mm,
because when I envision myself watching a horror film, I think, okay, I'm in a big movie theater and it's dark and it's spooky, or I'm at home
mm,
and I'm, on my couch wrapped up in a blanket. Um, so I am curious to see how it translates to something that's meant to be viewed on your phone that you're looking at. Um, but yeah, I'm really excited to explore like rom-com world with Chera TV.
Awesome. Well, that makes me happy because that's my comfort blanket. Thank you for that. So, part of the thing I think possibly the verticals that maybe you're not quite prepared for is the social. There's a lot of active fans on social media. So, like, what are the roles that people talk to you about as they've really enjoyed? And yeah, and I just, do you get a sense of kind of where people are and who the people are that are watching these shows? Because there's millions watching them.
hmm Yeah, it's interesting. It feels like such a wide variety of people watching them and reaching out, and I'm always so shocked and grateful every time. So many people reached out about one of my recent drama box shows, Lady Boss. It's called Watch Out, I'm the Lady Boss. And I was really shocked by that and so grateful for it. That was a long, hard shoot, to be honest, because it was a really long gala scene. It was like 40 pages of gala
Mm,
scene. So typically when you're filming a vertical, it's like shorter scenes, so it's kind of easy to memorize. So they're like
mm.
short, quick scenes. This would be like long, long, long pages of dialogue and dialogue and dialogue. So it's like so much. But yeah, so many people reached out about that show from all over the world. I was shocked.
That's just fascinating, isn't it? That it's so global. So now I want to ask you about what you like watching and what you like reading and so on. Are you still a K-drama fan? What do you watch that you enjoy?
I don't watch K-dramas a lot anymore, but occasionally I will. Which is also kind of like it feels similar to, a lot of people who watch verticals have said, like, I watch these to escape,
Mm.
or to just get a little break. And I feel like K-dramas are similar. So I do occasionally watch K-dramas, but I love shows like White Lotus. That would be a dream show to act in. Succession. Off the top of my head, those are what I've been watching.
And the thing is, it's not. I mean, I know it is a long gap between Succession and Verticals, but in a way, it's not because it's family machinations, and that's
Yeah,
Verticals, isn't it? Families plotting against each other.
yeah.
So it's not a million miles away.
Yeah. It's so interesting now because anytime I'm watching a film, I'm like, that's a vertical. Like, that's a vertical. I see this.
Yeah, it kind of changes the way I guess you view storytelling, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then acting wise, are there any actors or actresses that are must watches for you that you will try and go and
Hmm.
see what they're doing?
I mean, I love just like the classics, Nicole Kidman, Meryl Streep. Those are my girls.
Those are your girls' favourite roles of each of them, or a few favourite roles of each of them?
Oh, what's the show that Nicole Kidman was in recently? I forget the name of it. One of my issues is that I am very bad at remembering titles, which is a particular problem because my vertical titles change so much.
And we can't remember.
Um,
I can't remember what the name is when I'm watching it. Oh, Big
yeah.
Little Lies.
Yeah,
Big,
yeah, yeah. I loved
Big
that.
Little
I
Lies.
loved Big Little Lies.
Yeah.
And then Meryl Streep is Devil Wears Prada, is so iconic. Um, I would love to play Emily Blunt's character in Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, you would nail that. You'd be so good.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
you
Like
could,
villain. Like let me do a villain. I think
yeah,
I'm ready for my villain era, I think.
I think you could do the snark as well if you wanted. I think
Mhm.
I could see you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. We need that to happen. And again, you see now I'm going, well, that's quite vertical, isn't it? A kind of boss like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Comes
yeah.
back to verticals. Um, and then just finally, where would you love to see verticals and I guess your own personal career in a year's time? Where would you hope to be this time
Yeah, I
next year?
mean, with verticals, I guess where I would love to see verticals go is I want to see different stories. I want to see more diversity. Yeah, I want to see more risks taken, and um, with my own career. I mean, I've had such a blast doing verticals, and I want to continue to do them. But I'd also
Mm.
love to branch out into more horizontals and network television. Um, and I'm really excited about what we're gonna do with Chera TV and the stories that we're gonna be bringing. So.
Awesome. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me to share a little bit of your
Thank you
thing,
for
and also
having
just
me.
also for all your amazing roles as well, because you have put in a lot of time and effort, and your roles are amazing. So thank you so much.
That means a lot, and I feel very, very blessed every day to have the opportunity to act. So I'm very grateful, and I just wanted to say thank you for everything that you've done for this community and the space that you've built here with Vertical Drama Love. We're all incredibly grateful for you.